Hi, do you want to go thrifting in the suburbs of Chicago? Because that's where we're going. And maybe we're also going to a furry convention. What's that? You didn't understand me? Maybe we're also going to a furry convention. But that's neither here nor there. So come on, got a little trampoline for you to jump on. You're scared? You probably should be. Let's go. We're in Chicago! Come on. Come on. He has abs. Guys, he has abs.
Oh, she's the king.
Yeah, as they do. We passed by this last night and we thought that was a fursuit in the window. We got really excited.
Hey everybody, y'all doing? How y'all doing today?
Good.
So excited to be here.
Yeah. You been here before?
No, I've heard about it.
Great. We clear out estate sales, we get donations, and we do cleanouts. Nothing is priced. We make deals on everything here, okay?
Cool.
Love it.
If it's got a price on it, it came from another sale. We never took the sticker off.
Okay.
Okay.
If it's priced, we're making deals on everything? All right, perfect.
There was a fursuit. I mean, you heard the man. No prices on anything. You negotiate and walk out with some treasure. I want to live here. Okay, we're not in Chicago. We're in like the suburbs around it, which I think is where the treasure usually is. So we're going to hit a couple spots, see what we find. Are there more? Yeah. Before we continue with the Chicago thrifting adventure, I hope you don't mind if we take a moment to thank today's sponsor. I'm on a quest for a decluttered bathroom, and so far, just been doing all right with that. My goal is for everything to have its place, and one thing I can say for sure is that my toothbrush has its place. And my gosh, if it does not add to the aesthetic ambiance of this room. This is my electric toothbrush from Furry, who's the sponsor of today's video. Thank you, Furry. And I didn't know a toothbrush could feel top shelf until I got my hands on this puppy. It has an aluminum body, which just feels luxe in the hand, which is not something that I ever thought I would appreciate about a toothbrush. And here's my favorite part. The heads are plant-based, and you can even send them back to Furry and they will recycle them for you for free. There are also other quality of life improvements, like the travel case being this slim UVC cleaning case that you can use to disinfect on the go. Awesome. And the fact that on a single charge, the toothbrush can last over a month, which means one less charger or accessory you have to have out on your counter. So if you'd like to try out Furry for yourself, you can use my code KathleenIllustrated10 to get up to 30% off of your Furry toothbrush. You'll see why I love it so much. Thank you, Furry, for helping me feel very shiny, both teeth-wise and bathroom ambiance-wise. Now, on with the video. This is one of my favorite thrifting experiences I think I've ever had. I'm sorry in advance for those of you who are freaked out at the idea of bed bugs or secondhand items being gross, because I am quite literally Scrooge McDuck swimming through these items. I was trying not to step on anything. I was trying to be respectful. The floor was literally covered. You couldn't not. However, didn't end up buying anything from here, but it was a great experience. We also took one evening to visit a Christmas market, not the big one in downtown Chicago, but one of the suburban ones. And I'm glad we did that because, I mean, this is a hot take. They're kind of maybe a little overrated and they smell like raclette cheese, aka the spongiest, yucky, wet socks that you've ever smelled. But it tastes delicious. Anyways, on the way home from the market, we did stumble across a generic community thrift store. That was awesome. I don't know how I didn't film anything inside. I think I was lost in a fugue state, but prices were incredible. So I mentioned a furry convention. Do you want my furry lore or not? I thought that's why you were here. I'm going to start off this section by saying I unironically am kind of a furry and I love furries. This is not an anti-furry space, okay? As a child growing up on the early internet in the late 90s, early 2000s, I found my way through with a little help from my friends, aka strangers on the internet. By which I mean, you kind of naturally find areas and groups that align with your interests. So for me, I was a child who loved anime, drawing, cats. So it's no secret that I ended up spending so much of my childhood on deviant art. I don't think there's any surprise there. One of my first friends that I made there, aka we would comment back and forth on each other's posts, was someone who almost exclusively drew Sonic personas on lined paper that had huge boobs. Huge boobs. Her name was Daisy Fox, if you're still out there, Daisy. Actually, I don't know their gender. What if you're watching? Wow, what a time to be alive. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised. All that to say, my peers on this website were furries. A lot of them were, and I have a deep respect. I would say I'm not a participant, but I am an ally. So when we were visiting our friends, we all went to a little something called Midwest Fur Fest, specifically with one goal in mind: to watch the fursuit dance competition. This was the nexus of our entire trip, besides just hanging out and spending time with our loved ones. Fursuit dance competition. If you're new to the idea, during or before the furry convention, there are tryouts, a couple rounds of them, of self-choreographed either group or solo dances in their fursuits. Now, you don't have to wear an entire fursuit. I think it's just you have to have the head and hands and feet. There's some stipulation because dancing in a full fursuit, one, potentially very expensive, but two, pretty restricting. Anyways, this group of friends, we've watched these fursuit dance competitions on YouTube for hours together. It's a little bit of a pet hobby of ours. And the idea of seeing one in person, well, that's what really brought us all together. And might I say, it did not disappoint. I almost cried multiple times. One, because I just think there's something really brave about putting together a dance, wanting to tell a story, and getting up in front of a bunch of people and performing it while you're being your kind of truest self. That is awe-inspiring, honestly. So I almost cried at the indomitable human spirit, and then I almost cried at the judges because they brought in people who are not necessarily furries. I think one of them was, but others were just respected entertainers and dancers in the Chicago area, so you can guess that that they were very skilled and knew what they were talking about. And I loved how seriously they took it and the feedback they gave. It was so earnest, and there's just so much respect in that room. So that almost made me cry. So if you have the chance to attend a fursuit dance competition, don't hesitate and take me with you. I'm in heaven.
Angry like Santa. Yeah. Who do you guys think is angry?
Hello, we're on the floor, and I want to show you what I got thrifting in the suburbs of Chicago. It's not much, but it's good. I think we're gonna start off most boring, which is the shirt I'm wearing under the sweater. My winter uniform, long sleeve cotton or wool shirt with sweater or t-shirt or something on top. And as the winter months have worn on, I've realized that I could use a couple more of those long sleeve cotton or wool shirts because I was wearing the same like 3 on repeat forever, which is fine, but it didn't hurt to add a couple more to my wardrobe, aka one more. This one. It's sweet. It's got this little pointelle detail, you know, that very faint textile detail that's sometimes floral or heart or diamond shaped. A little mock neck. It's a bit cropped, which I'd prefer it not to be, but it's cotton. The sleeves are long enough. I'm not going to complain too much. I got it at Savers and I think it was like $11, which is crazy. Next, at a different thrift store, these prices were much, much better. We found this gorgeous maxi skirt that you might find fugly, but I think gives off extreme Jean-Paul Gaultier vibes. The slinky material, the slight weird denim pant pattern. From a distance, it's just an earthy kind of watercolory skirt. From a not distance, that's printed belt loops, baby. One thing about this though is that it was owned by a crafty person because it is modded. It's tailored. The sides are brought in. You can see this kind of like pie-shaped piece sewn out of it, so it's quite small and it's very tight right now, but I think when we seam pick the seam, it's going to fit perfect. And that's lovely. Sisterhood of the traveling Jean-Paul Gaultier-esque thrifted skirt. I think this is really good for both casual and more dressed up looks. And these creamy kind of mocha latte tones are really fun during the winter, I think. Next, something spicy, if I can find it. Okay, I found this somewhere between a blazer and a full-length jacket. Zebra print beauty. Oh, I really like animal print, not real animal pelt, but print, especially in the winter because I feel like it can really break up the monotone or bulky fabrics you might have in an outfit. Say you're wearing all black. If you put this visual contrast feast for the eyes on top of all of it, it's really quite charming, I think. I was hemming and hawing a little bit before getting this because I love a coat that's long, like calf length, floor length, and this doesn't quite reach that, but I also thought maybe I should get over myself and try it anyways. Pairing this with more of like a workwear vibe, really cool to kind of lean into the blazeriness of this. A little bit of an editorial thrift haul with the skirt and the fuzzy zebra print. Gus and the guys also all found matching vintage like velvet sheen jackets, which is very cute. He also found a dead stock Chicago Bulls satin bomber jacket, which was so cool because we were in Chicago, so That's a great souvenir. Like, it's old, never been worn. I think that's kind of one of his prized possessions at this point. That's it for clothes, but I did get 2 other things that I'm extremely excited about but need a little bit of work. Let me show you. One piece of holiday decor that I actually like as year-round decor is a good old blow mold. You know these things? I like them used just as lighting year-round. Not like a Santa blow mold, but something a little more innocuous. So we went to this vintage shop and it was all decked out, holiday stuff out. And when we walked in, I saw not 1, but 2 standing candle blow molds. This orange color and this yellow, so cool. They're definitely meant to be used as Christmas decorations, which they totally could be, like outside of your front door. That'd be really cute. But I think this would be such a fun, just in the corner light, especially because it's a giant version of a thing. 3-foot candle, 2 of them. It was a good price too. Blow molds are stupidly expensive, especially old ones. Anyways, there is one problem, and that problem is you would think with a candle that when you turn it on, you would see light from the place that a candle emits light. Oh, they're not on. That was anticlimactic. Why the butt light but the flame not? It really doesn't make sense, does it? But that's okay, because you know what we can do? We can fix it. We're gonna figure out a way to put lights up here instead of only down here, and everything will be good and right in the world. Wouldn't that be nice? But I love these things. Orange, yellow, I think they will go beautifully. I think they're perfect. So I was able to pop the top off of one of these, and I was like, oh, there's already a light connected, but it's not connected to anything. So that would explain. I just did some research, and I learned a lot about Christmas villages and blow molds and holiday decorations and how people light them. It's kind of its own little rabbit hole. I'm learning a little bit about what it's like to be an electrical engineer, is what I'm saying. Anyways, I learned that there are these strings of lights that are on one cord that people use to power their decorations. Also, I learned that you can use something called a vampire clip to make your own custom Christmas lights. That might be a little more than what we need for right now. Until I can get my hands on one of those multi-lighted accessory cords, as they're called, I'm gonna see if I can get this light in here and out of here. So at least we'll have a lit candle top instead of a lit candle butt. I mean, how hard could it be? I need tongs. I need tongs because there's what looks like gravel or kitty litter in the bottom of these to keep them heavy, and I'd rather not flip this upside down. Oh my gosh, am I just gonna be able to do this? I mean, I got you. Oh, it's hot. Wow. Wow. Well, that was easy. You remember a few videos ago, where I was painting a whole outfit for a photo shoot, but I couldn't tell you about the photo shoot? I can tell you about the photo shoot now. There's a local magazine called 614 Magazine, and they were doing like a creators edition for this month, and they asked if I could be a part of it. So I had to go and get my picture taken, and I think it turned out really cute. I actually didn't even know it was out in the wild until my aunt sent me a picture of the magazine, like, this you? Let's go see if we can pick one up and get some coffee. It's Monday morning. We're gonna need coffee. We've been to 3 different spots and none of them have them, but guess who does? The freaking library. Thank you, public resource. Behold, there she is. Can you see the resemblance? 10 of Central Ohio's biggest social media stars. I don't know about that because I'm in here, but it's an honor nonetheless. I'm so glad that the hand-painted outfit that we worked on got It's Moment in the Sun, and doesn't it look so cute on this purpley fuchsia-y background? And there's little shout outs to the channel on here, like the painted purse, different sketches we've worked on together. So cool, and I feel like this article really represents me in a very positive light, so thank you so much to the whole 614 team, especially Sav. Thank you so much for inviting me. Like, come on, how joyful, how sweet. This honestly kind of feels like a bigger deal than being in, like, I don't know, the New York Times or something, because it's local. My hometown, baby. And speaking of sweet things, I wanted to share a couple things I got for the holidays. Not like a what I got for Christmas haul, but just a couple little things I thought you might find interesting and cool. Let me go grab them. Right, too, we gotta light some candles for ambiance. That's the whole point. That's quite a large flame. Anyways, my Secret Santas, I had two. One for Gus's family, one for my family. They knocked it out of the park this year. So for one of them, I asked for vintage glass beads or clay beads, charms, and vintage magazines that I could use for collage. And Gus's mom, she clinched it. She nailed it. Starting off with a whole bucket load of vintage publications that honestly, I haven't decided if I'm gonna cut apart yet because they kind of feel like a piece of history and really nice. Like Life magazine with JFK on it feels like a relic of sorts. But there's so much good film photography and advertisements. Oh, look at that color. All of these little tobacco containers. Ooh, I bet this is just calling for a collage. It's basically already cut out for me. But I think my favorite one is this 17 magazine Christmas edition from 1968. Look at that. Oh, wow. Spring Maid of the Month. Oh my gosh, is this the start of the frosted tip? How's your Ouija IQ? Whoa. You like mid-century dressers? How about 12 of them? Beads and trinkets and bangles. Horse. As you can tell, I'm excited. Okay. And then she also put together a custom vintage bead pack for me. Compliments of the Craft Raccoon, which is so cool. It's a local reuse craft store that I haven't been to yet. And that feels like a federal offense, something I deserve capital or martial punishment for, because that's right up my alley. I think we should go there in a video soon. She picked out all of these little beads. We've got glass. These look like clay, porcelain. Oh, there's one in here that's called potato. Where'd it go? Potato beads. Here they are. Checked glass. Potato window coins. I feel like the luckiest girl in the world, and I have no idea what I'm gonna make with this, but it's gonna be something fun and good. And then my sister-in-law on the other side got me a little darning tool, a little mending tool, so I can finally fix the things I've been wanting to fix. I'm really looking forward to learning how this works better. As I've been wearing more sweaters from my collection this winter, I've been noticing more and more that more of them have little tiny holes that need taken care of. So this is perfect. I feel like a very lucky girl. I think my favorite gift that I gave this year, let me show you, was a little something for Gus to heal his inner child. Like many of us, he was a Pokemon kid. I think he said he played Pokemon Gold on Game Boy 12 times as a child. He still knows it like the back of his hand. It's crazy. And he's always wanted a way to play the Game Boy games again. He doesn't have the cartridges anymore. So I got him a little handheld. This is an Anbernic RG35XX SP, I think. And if you know anything about these handhelds, it's not a Game Boy. It's its own separate thing that you can put games onto. But it's a whole rabbit hole. It's a whole thing, a whole subreddit, as they say. And it felt a little daunting, but I was like, I want to get him these games. I want him to be able to be 12 again, if he so desires. But I wanted to get one that was maybe pre-configured, because it felt a little daunting to me. So I found this pawn shop, I think it was in New Mexico, that had one that was already prefigured with the OS I wanted on it, with games on it already, legally obtained, I'm sure, allegedly. Anyways, they sent it to me, and I, not knowing what I was doing, pressed the reset button, and I borked it. It did just this. It was just a black screen. So in the end, I did have to, in fact, learn all there is to learn about handhelds to get this set up with all the games that he could ever want. I learned a lot, and now I'm deep down the rabbit hole. Does it have every Harvest Moon game for Game Boy? Yes, allegedly it does in Minecraft. How cute! I was proud of this because I felt like I learned a lot. And it was also the perfect wintry nostalgia factory. Looking at all the Game Boy games, thinking about being a kid again. Really sweet. If I were to get a handheld for myself, I'm really interested in the AYN Thor that came out recently. It's like a Nintendo 3DS, 2 screens, and I've seen some that are just so cute. I don't need one, but that's kind of what I'm eyeballing. Imagine playing Animal Crossing City Folk on that thing. Are you imagining it? What is this? If there are any other handheld folks in the chat, let's hold hands together. Well, what'd you think? That was an adventure, huh? Happy official New Year, by the way. Happy 2026. Stuff is pretty heavy around the world, in the United States, and I don't want to act like it's not happening, because it is. All that to say, I hope you're taking care of yourself. I'm here. I'm glad you're here. And let's continue to check in on each other, our neighbors. It's important. And let's talk a little bit about the future. New year, more YouTube videos. Next week, we're going to be tackling a couple little home projects. A new couch, perhaps? Exciting. A couple of you have asked if I'm going to do trend predictions this year. I don't think so. Mostly because it just doesn't really sound fun. I don't know. One of my goals this year is to really just honor what sounds fun and creatively fulfilling. And right now I don't really have anything in the tank as far as trend predictions. Also, I think a lot of my predictions from years past, especially last year's, are coming true, like now. I've been seeing a lot of fawn print on things. So maybe I need to wait a year to let the trends catch up. Other than that, this year I'd love to do a lot more making. Recently, the thing that's really been scratching my itch, painting on clothes, really bringing illustration onto clothing in a sustainable way. Collage, oof, it gets me right here. Making the things exist that I wish existed. So if you want to do that together, let's go. We'll also still be going to the thrift store and hanging out, maybe talking about books more. And if there's anything specific you'd like to see, whether I've done it before or I haven't, let me know in the comments. I love you very much. Thanks for hanging out with me for all the years in the past and all the years to come. I'll see you next week. You're very stinky in a good way. Bye.